Thank you.
You're welcome. You can have a seat, Sheriff.
Sure.
Over there on the couch.
Thank you. Very nice person. Ah, hey, it's a nice little cabin you got here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How long you had the cabin?
About 8 years.
8 years.
I think, yeah.
And what do you do with the cabin?
We rent it out.
You rent it out?
Yeah, an Airbnb.
Oh, that's nice. Where's all your insulation?
Yeah, well, we don't have any.
What about your electrical outlets?
We don't have any.
Okay. Well, I'm in. I'm all in on this one. I haven't been to your farm for a while, and I know you didn't have the cabin last time I was here, but I love your blue cheese. I noticed you have some right here.
Yes.
And you eat blue cheese while you work on the cabin.
Yeah.
I like that.
A little snack.
Yeah, you know how to do it. I want to talk to you about the farm a little bit, and
Sure.
I want to ask you exactly how you make your blue cheese. So, now farm, how long have you had this farm?
16 years.
And have you always lived on a farm, or?
No. I've been farming for 26 years, or we have been farming for 26 years.
So you and Chris?
Yeah.
Wow. So what gave you the idea, like, I think I'm going to go into farming?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just always wanted to farm.
Okay.
I just always did.
Well, that's how I always wanted to be a sheriff, too.
Yeah.
What exactly do you have on this farm? You have a lot of animals. What different animals do you have?
We have pigs. We have chickens. We have turkeys. We have broiler chickens, which are like meat birds. We have goats and sheep. And I milk the sheep and the goats.
How many goats do you have?
I have 5.
5 goats, and how many sheep?
17.
17 sheep?
Yeah, I don't milk them all, though.
Okay, all right. How come you don't milk them all? I don't understand.
Well, there are different breeds. People usually have sheep either for milking, for fleece, or meat.
I see.
So I have some milking breeds, and then I also have some Romney, which are fleece and meat combination.
So the meat and the fleece do not have to be milked?
No. I mean, you can milk them, but they don't produce a lot of milk, and they're really hard. They're just not really bred to be milked. You can milk them. You can milk any animal. It's just some are a little easier.
And
than
do
others.
you shave the wool off the sheep?
There is somebody that comes, a shearer, and he comes and he spends the day and shears the sheep.
What do? You sell it to people, or?
No, well, he shears the sheep, and then I take the wool and I put it in a sheet and I bag it up and I hang it in the barn, and then I usually get it processed. Most of it I will turn into pillows.
And then you sell the pillows,
And I sell
course.
the pillows.
You have any pillows now made?
I do.
It's pretty cool.
Actually, some here in the cabin. If you stay in the cabin, you can use one.
And where? Show me one. Where is it?
It's upstairs in the bed.
Upstairs. So you have a bed upstairs in this
Yes.
cabin. All the luxuries at home, except electricity and insulation.
Heat, yeah. Hot water
and
bottles.
Hot water bottles. So that's how
do
they stay
wonders.
warm.
That is.
So if you are in the cabin and you have no insulation and you have no electricity, you get hot water bottles.
Yeah.
And that comes with the room.
It does. 4 hot water bottles.
4 hot water bottles.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's kind of funny. So what else do you do with the sheep?
I milk some of the sheep, 6 of them. Well, 5 right now. I will be milking 6. And then I make the cheese 2-3 times a week.
So they have their own barn then, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. And so you have the turkeys, a fowl, the turkeys and the
Yep.
chicken.
Yep.
And they have their own barn?
Yes.
So you have a, chicken barn?
A chicken barn.
And you have
And we have a animal barn. The pigs live outside. They have their own little shelter.
Okay.
And the broilers, we have special chicken tractors. They're movable pens that they live outside. They're only here for 10 weeks.
The chicken barn, you have the turkeys and the chicken there.
Yeah.
And your chickens, do you have meat chickens and egg chickens combined, or?
No. I do have them both, but they don't live in the same spot. The chicken barn is divided into 3 separate areas that can be closed off. And so we'll start the broilers in one pen for about a month, and then we move them outside. And the laying hens live in this other section. The turkeys are heritage turkeys, and they live here year-round. and they will usually go off somewhere in the woods and set on a clutch of eggs and hatch them. And then we try to catch them as soon as they're hatched, because between the foxes and our cats and dogs, they'll get the baby birds. So then we bring them inside, and then we leave the mama and the baby inside with them till they get a little older, and then they go outside with everybody else.
I know turkeys will nest.
Yes.
Do they you have an area that they nest in?
Well, I did do them inside in years past, but that doesn't work as well as if I just leave them alone and then they go find their spot. And then they'll come back with their babies. They stay out there for over a month.
But don't the fox get them?
No,
Really?
Well, they haven't yet.
Okay, wow.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. The uninsulated wood.
Yeah.
No. Now, you got the turkeys and the chicken.
Yeah.
We did the goats and the sheep. And then you have the pigs.
Pigs.
And what do you raise the pigs for?
Meat.
And it's all strictly meat.
Yeah.
And do you sell it or
Yep.
use it for yourself?
We usually raise anywhere from 3 to 5, and we keep one, and then we sell the rest.
Who handles the pigs? Do you handle the pigs?
Chris usually does the pigs.
Okay, Chris does the pigs.
Yeah.
Huh. Must be a man thing. But anyway, so Chris does the pigs.
Yes.
And you do the cheese, I know that.
Yeah.
Who
and
does the
usually-
chickens?
Chris usually does the
And
chicken.
Chris does the chickens. So does Chris actually name the pigs or get close to the pigs?
He actually really likes the pigs. He likes them. He is, in years past, he's named them, rototiller,
Okay.
pork chop.
Pork chop.
Yeah.
I tell you, if I was a pig and you call me pork chop, I tell you, I'll be trying to get out every day. I don't like that, man. Something's going on here.
They don't really know.
They don't know.
No. We've
But-
named him different names.
So he doesn't do the butchering, then he has somebody else do the butchering.
Yeah.
I noticed you had a greenhouse here.
We do.
There's a greenhouse.
Yeah.
So is that something that Chris does or you do?
I do.
And what do you have in the greenhouse that you grow?
Tomatoes, melons, cucumbers, lots of greens, spinach, herbs, a lot of things I use in catering, and I also use grow herbs to put in the cheese.
Do you grow the vegetables in the greenhouse for your own consumption, or do you sell it, or?
I don't usually sell it. I usually use it in catering jobs. So like I will cook for an event, and I oftentimes will grow things specifically for that event. So it's like farm to table, like really farm to table, like
I see.
from the farm directly to the table. The things that are grown in the greenhouse, the cheese and the milk and the meat.
And speaking of the cheese,
Yes.
because I came here primarily for the blue cheese, and you make it fresh. I was at the State of Maine Cheese Company, and they make cheddar cheese there. And David, the head cheesemaker, he went through the process, and it was a lengthy process. Now, I know making blue cheese still involves, the bacteria and all of that, but you do it a little differently for blue cheese. So I thought, if you didn't mind, you'd tell me kind of how you do it.
I start with milk that I milk twice a day, collect the milk, store it up till I have 7 gallons.
So you milk the sheep and the goats,
Yep,
and then you combine the milk together. So
Yes.
it's sheep and goat milk.
correct.
Well, that's interesting, and
Yeah.
by itself,
Yeah,
a little different. And then you bring it into your creamery.
yep.
And what do you do with it once it's in the creamery?
I strain it through, I have a filter,
Okay.
a milk filter, and I strain it just to get out any stuff that I don't want in the milk.
Stuff you don't know.
Stuff.
What's yeah.
And
What's that?
then I store it in the refrigerator
Mhm.
until I have 7 gallons.
So what do you keep in the refrigerator? You just keep the milk in there?
I keep the milk in there, and then I also age the blue cheese after it's done aging outside. And that varies anywhere from 2 weeks to 3.5 weeks, depending on the weather and the humidity, and
So it looks a certain way, and okay,
Yeah.
all right, it's ready to
it's
go
ready
into the
to be
refrigerator.
packaged, and then it goes into the fridge, and it stays there. The cheese has to age for 60 days.
Now, I know you make another type of cheese. What is it?
Feta.
Feta cheese, that's it, feta. And you keep that in the refrigerator as well?
Yes.
Is it
Yep.
aged? Does that age in the refrigerator?
That isn't as aged. That's what's called heat treated. So I will heat the milk up to 140 degrees, and then it lets it sit at 140 degrees for half an hour. Then I'll cool it down to the temperature when I start making the cheese. So it's a fresh cheese, but it's heat treated as compared to pasteurized.
So after you heat treat it, because you're killing the bacteria, just like
Yeah.
pasteurization, killing bacteria, and then you put it in the refrigerator. So that's in the refrigerator as well.
Correct. After about 4 or 5 days.
Okay, so you get the blue cheese, you got the milk, you strain the milk,
Yep.
and after you strain the milk, what do you do with the milk?
Well, I pour it into a big pot on the stove, and then I add the cultures. Penicillin roqueforti, which is the blue.
That's the blue, and that gives you your blue cheese.
Yes. And then I use other mesophilic cultures.
So with you, you're making, it's more like an art for you.
Yes, it's magic.
It's magic.
Yes.
So you don't care about the mesophila whatever.
Well, I mean, I care about it, but I don't really know
You have to
about
have it.
I put a little this and a little that, and voila.
Oh. So it's on the stove, you're heating it up, and you put in the cultures.
Yep.
The blue cheese culture,
Yeah.
and then whatever else you got to put in there.
Yep.
Okay, and now you continue to heat it. Now, how hot does that milk have to get?
90 degrees.
So you keep it at 90.
Yep, it
So
keeps
I
it at
always-
90 for an hour and a half, and then I will put in the rennet, and then that sits for about an hour. That will basically coagulate the milk, and so then
That's
you'll get
right.
the curds in the way. Then I will cut the curds, and by cutting the curds, you're releasing more whey. And so I want to cut the curds and keep it at 90 degrees, and the curds will firm up a little, more whey will be released. So I'll let that sit for an hour, and then I will strain out the whey, and then I'll take the curds and I'll put it into a mold which has pierced holes all in it. It has a bottom, but the whole mold itself has tiny, tiny holes. So again,
see.
what we're just straining out, trying to
So
drain
all that
more
whey, which is a liquid, is going to
Yep,
come out the
Yep,
holes,
yep. Some cheeses are pressed.
right?
You
Right.
know, some cheese are just gravity releasing the whey. Some cheeses are hung, like the feta that I make.
I see.
A lot of the same process, and then it's hung in cheesecloth, and just the weight of itself will drain more, and it just gets more of a solid mass, and then I cut that. So with the blue cheese, so it gets poured into the molds, and then I let it sit overnight, and then the next morning I'll flip it right in the molds
I see.
itself, because I want to keep the shape. If I were to take the mold off, it would sink a little, spread a little. So I want to keep it in the mold for a day. So then the following day I'll take the mold off, and then I'll start to salt it for 3 or 4 days. And then I flip it every day.
I see.
And I have a cheese box in the creamery, and I take it out. I'll flip it every day, salt it, for the first few days. And then once it starts to develop blue on the outside, then I'll take a knitting needle and I pierce it to get air inside the cheese, because the blue will grow where there's air. And so I pierce it and I keep flipping it, and then I'll wrap it and stick it in the fridge until 60 days are up, and then it's ready. I'm kind of experimenting with washing the blue cheese with beer. I'm kind of experimenting.
So you're
with the
washing
stout.
the pretty
Yeah,
beer,
like on
and
the
you're
outside.
washing.
Wash the outside of it, and I flip it, and I'll wash it again, and I'll do that for a week to 2 weeks.
It's
Experimenting.
an art. You're
Yes.
doing the art thing.
Yes.
And so you get done with that, and then you put it in the fridge.
Yes.
And,
And the temperature of the fridge is a little higher, so it's 40 degrees. It's not really cold, because I want it to continue aging.
From when you first start, say from the milking of the sheep and the goat to your finished product of blue cheese, how long does that take? 2 months?
Yes.
See, I figured that out just from talking to you.
You're
And that is
smart.
why
You're
I'm
a smart
the
sheriff.
sheriff.
The blue cheese is also certified organic cheese.
It's certified organic cheese. What does that mean?
That means that the farm and the creamery are certified organic. All the animals are fed organic grain, organic hay. The fields are certified organic. The vegetables are certified organic.
So everything you feed them,
Yes.
and then they provide the milk,
Yes.
that's all organic.
Yes.
Because that's all cheese is. It's what you're doing to the
Yeah.
milk.
Yeah.
And notice you have the cheese in here. I noticed that when I came in. And is it okay if I take that cheese with me?
Yes. It's for you.
It's for me?
Yes.
You're great, Patty. Can I try some of it?
Sure.
It's pretty fresh, right?
Yes.
Always fresh here. It's organic.
Yeah.
So why don't we cut some up and try it?
Sure. But before we do, can I show you something?
Yes.
On here? So remember I was talking earlier about when the blue develops on the outside and then I pierce it?
Yes.
So you can see here, there's that line. That's where I pierced it, and that's where the blue starts growing, because the blue is all in the cheese, but where it hits the air is where it starts to grow. So anyway, that's just...
So down here, like the...
Right, and then I pierced it all over. This is just another area where it must have gotten air. You want to try some?
Oh, I'd love to.
Okay. Do you mind if I pick it up for you?
Oh, absolutely not. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Do you mind if I have a piece?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, good.
I got to make sure you get it first so I know it's okay.
Yes.
It's organic, you know.
Yes.
Ah. Kind of melts in your mouth. I love blue cheese.
I do too.
It's great cheese.
I didn't used
I love
to like
pepper
blue,
jack
but
too.
now I do. When I was younger, I didn't, and then I ate it, and I find that I'm a little addicted to it. I want it in my salad every day.
I'll crumble up a little bit of that and put it on my salad.
Yeah.
And get back to the house.
There you go.
Fresh, homemade, right off the farm.
Organic too.
And organic.
Yeah.
So there you have it, everybody. Organic blue cheese. Cut some more. Cut some more. This is good stuff. Oh, yeah.